Sounds good. Yeah, I'm not sure I could. They say time heals everything, but I'm still waiting. I'm through with doubt. Nothing left for me to figure out. I paid a price, and I'll keep paying. I'm not ready to make nice. I'm not ready to back down. Still with myself, don't have time to go round and round and round. It's too late to make it right. Probably wouldn't if I could, 'cause I'm mad as hell to bring myself to do what it is to think I should. I know you said, can't you just get over it? Turn my whole world around. I kinda like it. In my bed and sleep like a baby, no regrets and no regrets. Sad story when I'm on a teacher. Sorry that you got a imperfect stranger, and now in the world can worse than I say. Send somebody so over the edge that they write me a letter saying that I better shut up and sing or my life will be over. I'm not ready to make nice. I'm not ready to back down. I'm still mad as hell and I don't have time to go round and round and round. It's too late to make it right. Probably wouldn't if I could. 'Cause I'm mad as hell to bring myself to do what it is to think I should. I'm not ready to back down. Still mad as hell and I don't have time to go round and round and round. It's too late to make it right. Probably wouldn't if I could. 'Cause I'm mad as hell to bring myself to do what it is to think I should. What it is to think I should. Yeah, I'm not sure who. They say time heals everything, but I'm still waiting.
My name is Jim Rigby. I'm a Presbyterian minister here in Austin, and I'm pro-choice. I'm supposed to do a Catholic lesson, and I'll try to stay as much in harness as I can, but like you, I'm very, very angry, and I'm tired of this. Are there any people of faith that are tired of the fundamentalists beating up your friends in your name? Are you willing to get louder than them? Because a lot of people in that pink building over there think they speak for Jesus and speak for God. How many of you believe that a woman has not only a right, but a responsibility to take charge of her reproductive life? Bless you for that. Bless you for that. How many of you who are Christian here know that Jesus never said one single word about abortion? So it's a little dishonest to say it's a Christian issue. Bless you for your honesty. But even if Jesus did, how many of you know that we don't want to live in a theocracy?
And you may have heard some of the folks who run this building talking about people acting unruly that night. Well, I gotta tell you, I'm glad to hear him say it. Because that sure was an unruly bunch that was running the Senate on Tuesday night. Those of you that were here, you saw the injustice. You saw rules being flouted, traditions being chucked out, and common sense being ignored, all so the folks in control could do whatever they had to do to get their way. They debased our proud chamber, all for a bill that won't do much to prevent abortions, but will do a lot to prevent legal ones. That injustice is what brought you out here today. But let's face it, the injustice that Texas women face covers a lot more than what we saw on Tuesday night. Injustice is what allows budget writers to slash women's health funding when money gets tight. Injustice shuts down essential women's health clinics to make a political point, no matter the cost to this state, its budget, or its women. Injustice lets the governor veto a bill that simply ensures women can pursue equal pay for equal work under state law. And injustice is what stops over and over again bills that would reduce abortions by reducing unplanned pregnancies that lead to them. There's no question that Texas women have suffered from this injustice, but they aren't the only ones. Injustice affects our kids when they sit down in an overcrowded classroom. Injustice wears out working parents who can't find health coverage for themselves or their kids. Injustice hurts small business owners when they pay a big tax bill without any of the incentives, exemptions, and abatements that big corporations get. And injustice plagues our democracy when deals are cut and games are rigged in back rooms that our citizens never get to see. My friends, you are here today because you know Texas can do better. We're all part of a great cause here today. We are here standing with Texas women. And I am proud. One of the things I'm most proud of is I get the great honor of being the chair of the Senate Democratic Caucus. And I am so pleased and proud of the men and women of the Democratic Caucus and the job they did last Tuesday night. I want to recognize them. They're standing here behind me. The Dean of the Texas Senate, from Houston, Texas, Senator John Whitmire. From Laredo, Texas, Senator Judith Zaffarini. From San Antonio, Texas, and someone who will make sure a woman's voice is heard, Senator Leticia Vanderputte. Senator Rodney Ellis. The big man that has my back right now, Senator Royce West. From down in the valley, Senator Juan Texas, Senator Jose Rodriguez. And last, and certainly not least, our newest member of the Senate and newest member of the Senate Democratic Caucus, and we're glad to have her, Senator Sylvia Garcia.
Thank you. You look beautiful. the only pro-choice Republican in the state of Texas. One of my biggest fears is public speaking. I prefer to be anonymous. I sit in the back row of class in law school, not because I'm unprepared, but because speaking in front of 100 people terrifies me. But I'm here. I'm here because there are two things that scare me more than public speaking. First, the extreme actions taken by Republican legislators to limit health care options for women of this state. And second, the bully tactics they use to try to keep other Republicans from breaking rank. That's why I knew I had to be at the Capitol last week, cheering so loud the whole nation heard us. And that's why I knew I had to be here today. My support for Senator Wendy Davis and all the senators and House members who are fighting to keep abortion safe and legal in the state of Texas transcends party lines. And no one understands this better than Cecile Richards, President of Planned Parenthood Action Fund. She is also the head of Planned Parenthood Federation of America, whose health centers care for more than 3 million people a year. Ms. Richards is an inspiration to me and to countless others across Texas who, like me, understand that this is not a political thing. This is personal. I'm truly humbled and honored to introduce to you Cecile Richards.
As promised, the Texas Legislature is back at the Capitol today, but so are we. More than 20 years ago, my mom ran for governor, and someone still got a sign from that campaign. But her promise was to open up the doors of government and let the people in. And I gotta say, thousands of you have taken her up on that offer. Welcome to Austin. Last week, we waited in line for hours. We filled the Capitol. We waited in line for hours to support Wendy Davis on the floor of the Senate and gave voice to the millions of women who will be devastated by these proposed bills. Later on, like a lot of you, will end safe and legal abortion and a whole host of other health services for women in Texas, for women in Lubbock, women in San Antonio, in McAllen, in El Paso, in Corpus Christi, and in Waco. It all started a couple of years ago when Governor Perry and his allies ended the women's health program, forcing more than 60 health centers to close their doors and leaving 130,000 Texas women stranded. Well, we're here today to say enough is enough. You know, the one thing that's been missing, has been mentioned in these last few 2 years, is the voices of women. We've been told, we've been shut down and shut out and told to shut up. And for the women in the legislature, they've had their mics turned off and been told, we can't hear you. So my question is, can you hear us now?
Thank you for coming. The next session of the special legislature, the Big Mac truck may be coming. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to fight back. We refuse to go backwards. We refuse to have our voice drowned out. We refuse to be muzzled. And we are going to stand up because we have a constitutional right to fight for the things that we believe in, and abortion is constitutional. evaporate from your minds. Make sure that when 2014 comes around, you send people back to this legislature who are going to respect your rights as citizens of Texas and the United States.
Really are wonderful. And I am so glad that you are all here and we can be together at your state capitol. I've heard many kind words in these recent days, and I am humble and grateful. But the truth is, you all have given me and so many others a renewed sense of strength. Less than a week ago, you were at the crux of a turning point in Texas history. You joined the ranks of brave men and women who love this state and fought for their liberties and preserving Texas values. It was your voices, lent to me, that made it possible for me to stand those 13 hours. My incredible, brilliant, eloquent, strong, hard-fighting Senate Democratic colleagues who took over that filibuster in the last 2 hours. But even with all of our effort in that Senate chamber that day, we couldn't quite get over the finish line. And with only 20 minutes left on the clock, Texans expect honesty and respect from their elected officials, and they will take their power back when disrespected and misused. It's your strength, your courage, your conviction that causes me to say today, I believe in Texas more than ever. Texas is the greatest state in our nation. There's still no better place to live or work or raise a family. And it's still a place where hard work and a belief in yourself can lead to success. I grew up like a lot of little girls in Texas without many advantages. My mom, like Stephanie's, was a single mom with 4 kids, and she only had a 6th grade education. And by the time I was a teenager, my life was beginning to look a lot like hers. I was a single mom too. I'm joined here today by Amber, my daughter, who's 30 years old.